green light. It bugs me when it's an orange light. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Counting down. Oh, are we actually here? Yes, we are here. Good morning, everybody. It is FriYay. I always look for opportunities to use the buttons. Anyway, it's FriYay. It is the 20th and happens to be a very important person's birthday. We won't get into it, but it's not my birthday, don't worry. Somebody who's somehow connected to the show has a birthday today. I'm not going to out them, but they're older than they were yesterday. That being said, we love them. Okay. What's happening? I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Sean Shapiro. This is Ask a Traffic Cop, and it's where we go to talk to you about questions that you need answering. So if you have questions that only an officer of the law, a member of a traffic unit, somebody who knows stuff about and things about the stuff and things that we talk about here, you're in the right place. And if you want to talk about the price of chickens in Uruguay, I don't have any answers for you. I'm sorry. But let's get into things. Right off the bat, I can tell you that this is the last show of the month. And it's actually going to go into the next month because I'm going on vacation, which means I will not be here to talk to you. And I'll miss you, but I'm going to go be somewhere else. Now, I will likely have some content that I'm creating while I'm out and about, and I will likely be going live at some unscheduled time. But it's unscheduled, so you can't prepare for it. But if you had things that you were, putting on hold in your life so you could be here every day at 10 a.m., I can tell you now, you have things you can do, or you should find things to do for that 1 hour because, well, we're not going to be here. That being said, Aaron will be here, and maybe you'll take over the slot.
Yes, I do plan to use your desk and your little studio like I did yesterday. It was actually really fun. And,
that's awesome.
I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, I will schedule some lives on my account.
Very cool. So be on the lookout. If you don't already follow Erin, she's available at TPS Bike Cart and Parking TPS. Which account would you normally go live on? Would it be Erin?
I'll probably do my Bike Cart account.
Yeah,
there's more following there.
Absolutely. Okay, I want to talk to you about Vision Zero Enforcement Team. They are the fine folks that are spending time throughout the city. They are changing driver behavior one ticket at a time. They don't do hugs. They just do tickets. I'm sorry if you were looking for the hugs. Wrong department. If you don't want to meet them, don't break the law because they are looking for folks who choose to speed, drive aggressively, drive distracted, or drive impaired. That's what they do. They are the people who want to make the roads safer, and sometimes doing that requires, a couple of charges to be laid. But again, no one gets charged unless they break the law, so if you get charged, that's your participation award. You shouldn't have been doing it if you didn't want one. Okay. I see, not participation because you showed up, it's participation because you chose to participate in breaking the law. See what I did there? Okay. We have two ways of asking questions. Do we have two ways? We have multiple ways of asking questions. Really, it's just one way. If you type it into your device. Now, if you're on a handheld device, hopefully you're not driving because that would be against the law. But if you are watching us on TikTok, use the Q&A functionality. That is the question mark in the bubble. If you're on TikTok, I said TikTok. If you're on Instagram, same thing goes for you. Question mark in the bubble, that's the Q&A function. That's how you will get to me. I don't read the chat. It's the only way I'll see you. If you're watching on any of the other platforms, you can watch on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, and even Twitter. I'll get back to the Twitter in a second, but if you're on anything but Twitter, other than TikTok and Instagram, you can just put it in the comments and we'll see it. And when you see it, when I see it, I'll respond to it. I'll say hello. Test it out. Send me a message. Everyone say hello. Test it out. Make sure. Tell me where you're coming from, where you are. I want to know where everybody is so I can, it makes me feel nice when we're international because we often have people from Ireland and Germany and I've had people from Austria. I've had officers from Austria write to us saying, great show, very interesting to watch how laws are different where we are versus where they are. Oh, and I have interference, so I know the connection is working. So, do you hear the buzzing?
I do hear
It's the worst sound in the world.
And how do you
worst sound in the world.
Get rid of that?
It's just radio interference. It depends on if the so the Wi-Fi didn't work for TikTok. That's a normal problem. We've always been or regularly are transmitting. I'll try that. Oh, I'm already in airplane mode. I don't know why. It's getting worse.
Yeah,
this is bad.
It's bad.
Oh, but if I hold my hand here and here, it goes away. So as long as I don't have to touch the screen, if I just hold the wire with my hands, it's great. Step away from the phone.
Yeah, I thought it was like, was I close?
Oh, stepping away from the
like
phone doesn't work.
Phone, I don't know. It's weird.
Doesn't work. And it happens whether I'm here, there, anywhere. And some days nothing. I think it depends on how much interference we have in and around the building, the tower use and so on, because sometimes we have no problem at all. Sometimes we have many problems, as do many people. Okay. Andrew McNaughton says, good morning, everybody. LinkedIn user is coming in from Burlington, but I don't know. We have a couple who are secret squirrel. Don't tell us who they are because security settings, very, very VVIP. But I just know they're from Burlington. It could be Andrew. It could be George. It could be a couple of people that talk to us regularly on LinkedIn. But who it is, no, I don't know. Big Jeff Fresh, good morning, brother. How you doing? He's coming in from Twitch. He is from, what is this? From the one-day delivery place? You're at Amazon? No. I didn't know you were inside the castle. Sault Ste. Marie is where Andrew McNaughton's coming in from. And greetings and salutations from Brampton. That's Kayla Draconis. We have, what is this? We have people who want to sell us stuff. We're good, thanks. Okay, so again, I do not spend time in the chat, at least on the big platforms where we have right now over 380 people jumped in. I do not see the chat. So if you're trying to get my attention, please use the Q&A function. Also, if you'd be so kind as to tap that screen so your fingers go numb, it tells the algorithm that you like us. And if you are further interested in supporting the channel, you can forward it to your friends, whether it be through social media, texting, whatever it is. Share the live, because the more people we bring in here, the more interesting questions we get to share with everybody. And if you have a question, chances are they have the same question, or at least there are going to be many, many people who have the same question. All right, let's get into it. And just to acknowledge Stephen, who says, good morning, and how are you today? I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Speed laws when overtaking on a yellow dotted line. Speed laws are speed laws. They do not change regardless of the activity you're participating in. And thank you to the interference gods who have turned off the oh no, it's coming back because I said something. So yellow lines, dotted or otherwise, are suggestions. They tell you what is safe to do in that area, but they are not enforceable in the province of Ontario. So what it means is if you cross the line and cause a collision, you're going to be responsible for it, but you're not going to get a ticket for simply crossing the line. But in terms of speeding, you're never allowed to exceed the speed limit. Ever. Ever. There's no way you can do it, not legally, so it means if you exceed the speed limit to pass someone, you could end up getting a ticket. And I didn't take an opportunity. I made an assumption that everyone knows who I'm talking to. I have Erin Urquhart, who is TPS_bikehart on TikTok and every social media platform. She's a parking enforcement officer, and she joins us on the regular talking about, well, bicycle safety and parking enforcement. So if you have questions about parking, specifically to the City of Toronto, because bylaws change from city to city, if you have questions for her, please let us know. Use the same things. I will reiterate your questions and share them with her so we can get you some answers. You can also follow her at TPS_bikehart or Parking TPS, which is the primary parking account.
That's right.
Cool. I don't know why I just say, hey, Erin, tell everybody. Hey, Erin, hey, tell everybody.
Hey, you could say it a lot faster, so here for that. And happy FriYay.
Happy FriYay. Wait, do I do it again? Okay. Question is, are highway limits getting raised to 110 kilometers an hour? Well, in certain areas, yes, they are and have been. There was a pilot. That pilot is now permanent. But it's like for the 404, I think it's a 16-kilometer stretch of the highway. That's it. I don't think there's any plans to expand beyond that. But who knows what the future holds. Excuse me as I trip over my tongue. Yeah, I don't know what the future holds on that. And I'm not advocating for it. If it happens, it happens. And that'll become the law and we'll enforce that. But if it doesn't happen, then we'll continue to enforce what's here. Hey, a bunch of people just jumped to the room. I guess people invited you. Hey, welcome to the party. This is FriYay. And we are enjoying our time answering your traffic and police questions for an hour, right till 11 o'clock. Okay. Accident 7 years ago. It should be off my record, question mark. Yeah, generally speaking, your current record they can look at as I think they keep it for 6 or 7 years, but the current record, if they have, or if you're new to them and they're searching it, I think it's 3 or 4 years. But the actual conviction, if you were charged, would be coming off after 3 years from the conviction, and any points attributed to your license would come off after 2 years from the date of the offense. How does a pursuit work in Toronto? You have them? Pursuits happen. The definition of a pursuit is any time that we try and stop a vehicle and they choose not to stop. That's different than you didn't see us for a second or two, but when we are convinced that you have seen us and you are still actively fleeing or refusing to stop, that's a pursuit, and every one of them is going to be different based on what is at stake. What was it, because you did 10 over, or was it because you just shot somebody? So it really depends on what's happening. So they do take place, but we always measure public safety and take that into consideration. There's no single rule. It's all going to be taken into consideration live as we go. Okay. Is there still parallel parking on the G2 test? That's a good question, and I have no idea. They had reduced about 30% of the duplication. So if it's something that was on the G1 test, G2 test, and it's taken off the G. There's some duplication there. I don't know how long, I had it written down, how long the temporary change to the test is going to be and what was taken off, but I don't have it in front of me, so I'm sorry. Best thing to do is to go onto the drivetest.ca website and check and see what they have. We have here, is replacing a catalytic converter to a smaller one. A smaller one? You mean like maybe a more, a larger diameter, a freer breathing cat? I've spoken to some race folk, and they have said that catalytic converters now really do not negatively impact in any significant way the horsepower or power ability for your engine. So my understanding is it's not worth doing. But as long as it meets the grade, then it would be something you can do. But older vehicles used to see a more dramatic benefit. It's not a benefit now with more modern vehicles. So says the people. Your voice is kind of soothing, LOL. Thank you very much. I got to do that. Have you seen that thing that people are looking for the soothing voice of TikTok? That's that Sleep Easy company, or they have a. Anyway, I've been meaning to stitch their video, and I haven't done it. Who knows? I could be lulling people to sleep on some app. That'd be weird. Don't speed. Don't speed. Do you think people would fall asleep to that? Aaron's totally ignoring me.
No, I'm answering people in the chat, and like they're not paying attention because I've answered the same person twice.
What is the question? Maybe we can deal with it out here in the live.
Yeah, got my first parking ticket, and it was for $250. What does screening scheduled mean and duration? Don't know the duration because that goes through the city of Toronto, if that's in the city of Toronto that you're referring to. And what it means is that it's scheduled to be looked at by a city screening officer, because that's, once we write the ticket, it goes to the city of Toronto and they take care of the processing of the tickets. The duration, it could be a couple weeks. They're very backlogged right now.
That's an administrative thing. The whole world is being on backlog. I don't know why, maybe because of a pandemic. So yeah, the best thing to do is call them, though. That's a totally different section. We issue tickets, but they process tickets. Question on the screen is, can you drive in Canada using a UC, driver's license? So can you drive in Canada using a United Kingdom driver's license? The answer is yes. We do honor international driver's licenses or foreign driver's licenses while you are visiting. However, if you move here and become a resident, you have 60 days to apply for a Canadian, or specifically an Ontarian driver's license. And once you have your Ontario driver's license, that's the only one that we will accept. What do we got here? But hopefully that answers your question. But people travel all over the place. We will travel, abroad and drive. I drove in Australia. I will say that being that you are used to driving on the right-hand side or the wrong side of the road, it is confusing. I rode motorcycle and drove car in Australia, and it does take some getting used to. So be very careful if you're going to do it, because we don't want you to get involved in a collision. I was I was at a motorcycle event in the States, and there was a chap from Australia had shipped his Goldwing over, and on the last day of the event, he got a little confused. He drove on the wrong side and died. He literally ended up in a head-on collision.
Oh, my goodness.
His nickname was Whale. He was a very large man, and it's not to make fun of him. It was actually in his obituary. It was, it just sticks out. His name was Whale. Okay. Neon says, good blessed FriYay morning, everybody. Thank you. Hey, have you ever considered becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service? I'm one of the best decisions I ever made, and you can make a similar decision by visiting tps.ca/careers. If you had any thoughts of becoming a member, whether it be as a volunteer in the auxiliary, becoming a court officer, special constable, working in parking enforcement, there's so many opportunities, and there's so many different positions that even if you start in one, you could end up somewhere else. It doesn't mean that it's the same for your entire career. You get bored every 5 seconds. You could probably apply for a new position every 5 seconds. Maybe that's not exactly 5 seconds, but a little longer than that. In any case, a great opportunity. We are hiring, and if you want more information, check out the website. Do you like takeovers? Takeovers like corporate takeovers? What are we talking about here? Do you mean people who illegally take over streets, shut them down, and then do illegal things in their motor vehicles? No, I do not like takeovers, but I do like arresting people who are involved in those. That to me is a good thing. So takeover events are not safe. They are not legal. Don't get involved in them, and don't go to them, because you can be arrested in relation to some of these things depending on what you're doing. Shutting down a road, yeah, that's illegal. Okay. Can someone fire me if I got COVID? Employment law is not something that I can comment on because I have no clue. I just don't know. I don't think they can, but I don't know or not whether or not they can. So I would suggest contacting a labor lawyer for more information there. But there's got to be tons of information. Even on the Ontario website, I would imagine you're protected. But again, not a lawyer. Let's see here. And have no training in the COVID law thing. Okay, we already covered Is Neon spamming us with good morning? Plate lights not working. Is it a big deal? Well, it's a $110 deal if you're caught on the road without illuminating your license plate at night, which means your car is a daytime car only right now. Change the light bulb. If it's an electrical issue, get it fixed. Put an LED that you glue to the top of the license plate area. Not the license plate, that would be defacing your license plate, but the area above it. Just illuminate your license plate at night. It's a requirement under law, and it's a silly ticket to get if you get one, but you will get one because it's oddly enough something we notice right away. It's a heat score. It's a heat. I can't even. I was earlier. Somebody said something about what was the word we were talking about? Because I was trying to figure out if the statement came from Shaggy, Scooby and Doo. And Janky.
Janky.
Janky. Who said janky?
I said janky.
Oh, you said janky. But the word janky isn't that a word that's? Is it Thelma?
Jinkies.
It is from that.
Says,
Okay,
janky,
yeah.
I said. He
What?
says jinkies.
He says jinkies? I thought it was jankies. Are we sure? We're Googling now. I can hear.
Got really quiet.
Q is typing and searching, trying to find a quote. Yeah, Scoob. Do y'all have open carry? Police officers do, but no, civilians cannot open carry in Canada. Not possible, not something you can get. The only people who can carry firearms in Canada are police and the military in certain circumstances, and also armed guards. But the civilians can't carry for protection. What else we got here? Aha, love this. Is there a medical exemption for tinting your car? The answer is no, not in Ontario. Other provinces may have different rules, but our rules are that the rules are the rules, and medical doesn't do anything. You can get a doctor's note for your seatbelt, but you can't get it for your windows. That means that your maximum light blockage is still 30% and nothing can go on the front windshield. There's a video in our FAQ playlist that has all the details you could need to know right there for your entertainment. What do we have here? Having a cop what is this? Having a cop push bar on a car, say a retired cop car. So the deal is that some push bars or brush bars are legal and other ones are not, based on my understanding of how they're mounted. If it's something mounted to the frame and does not crumple, it changes the impact. What is the word I'm looking for? Impact zone, impact response. Anyway, it's not something that should be on all vehicles, and may cause two issues: one with your insurance, and one in the event of a collision where you could get some issues there. So I don't want to tell you yes. I'd be looking to your mechanic to find out more information. But there are ones that have specific crumple ability, and they're meant for civilian vehicles. Okay, crumple zone. Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking. What is this? Are plates always government property? Plates, yes. Doesn't matter what you buy. They are owned by the Ministry of Transportation and can be seized and returned to them. What are we talking here? How to perform a citizen's arrest. Not something I'm going to give you instructions on because it is more than we can spend time on today, or any day that we do a live talking about traffic safety and traffic law. But citizens' arrests is an ability that anyone inside the country can perform in the event that certain conditions are met. Like it has to be an indictable offense or a hybrid offense where the prosecutor can choose to pursue pursue a conviction as an indictable or as a summary. So it depends on how they handle it. So indictable or dual purpose hybrid, those are the options. And unfortunately, we're not going to get into a training course on what is what because you need to know. Obviously, more serious offenses are going to be indictable or straight indictable. When you decide to arrest someone as a citizen, you are taking on a tremendous amount of liability. If you are wrong, you are going to be paying through the nose in a lawsuit. So your best bet is to call the police and go from there. I would not encourage anyone to get involved with arresting people when you are not trained on how to do it properly and lawfully. Lawfully being the biggest. What kind of coffee do you drink? Coffee with caffeine and cream. The brand and flavor I'm less picky about. Usually it's based on geographical location, as in where I am in proximity to the closest coffee. Lately that's been Tim Hortons. Sometimes that's the Starbucks or $5, depending on how you refer to it. In any case, I do like coffee. Radar reading on two cars at the same time. So radar is a less popular measurement tool right now. We tend to use laser devices, which are very accurate, and use a pinpoint laser through a scope aiming directly at a motor vehicle so we can identify it easily. When you're dealing with radar, more is involved. Obviously, our officers' observations of the events come into play because the radar will display the fastest and largest moving vehicle. So, if two cars are side by side, the faster one is going to be the reading I get. And of course, that means I have to be looking at the vehicles and making my independent observations of what is actually happening. And then I can identify which one is causing the issue of speeding. Now, there's more to it than that. We make independent observations and estimates and then confirm that with readings from our devices. It's not just shopping for a speeder with a computer. Stopping for school bus, can we raise the fines? I think we should. There is new legislation coming or being passed, and I believe that buses are being outfitted with a camera system that will be able to issue or at least collect evidence so that tickets can be issued to the drivers similar to that of a red light camera or speed camera. So hopefully that happens, and with that they jam up the prices because people who put children at risk are terrible people. I'm sorry to say. If you choose to break the law, I'm not impressed with you in the first place, but if you put children at risk, and even worse, if you hurt children, well, that's not okay. I'm gonna put it all into one. It's not okay, because I don't want to say anything else. Okay, are motorcycles allowed to use HOV lanes? They've always been allowed to use HOV lanes in the city of Toronto. They have signs where motorcycles are on the sign, so we know that they're there. But as of, I think, 2017, the HOV lanes in the 400 series highways are now all accepting solo operators on the HOV lane. So that's an awesome motorcycle bonus. You don't have to buy an expensive electric car to go solo. You just have to be on two wheels and look good while you're doing it. Okay, it doesn't matter if you look good doing it, as long as you don't break the law. Out of province license suspensions. There's not even a question mark here. I don't know what you're talking about. But yes, let's assume that you mean, do out of province license suspensions affect your Ontario license? Yeah, if you're suspended somewhere else, you're suspended here too. And vice versa. If you're suspended here, you're suspended everywhere. International driver's license period of validity. Yeah, your license is, so once you become a resident, you are eligible to use your international or foreign license for up to 60 days, but it means within that 60 days you need to apply, and once you do apply, you're instantly not allowed to use your international or foreign license anymore. You're given 60 days to apply in order to be legal.
Oops,
That was
sorry.
loud.
That was me.
That was you?
That was me for once.
It sounded like you were right here.
The question was, can you see it on your system if it was an out-of-province suspension?
We see the suspension, yeah. We can look up, and our systems speak to other provinces in Canada and even the United States. So yeah, if you have a suspension somewhere else, we're going to see. And very often it's a notification on your Ontario license. What is this? Oh, here's a great question. Can you pull over an e-bike if they are speeding or lane splitting, an e-bike? So I think there's a couple of things to unpack here. E-bike, if it's a device that conforms to the legislation, is basically a bicycle. It just happens to have electric assist power. And yes, we can pull over an e-bike for any reason that they're violating. Now, speeding isn't something that we can deal with an e-bike because bicycles don't fall under speeding offenses unless they're in a park and there's a bylaw in the park. But if you are on a e-bike that is exceeding 32 kilometers an hour, I got news for you. You're not an e-bike anymore. So now you're a motor vehicle and you're subject to all the laws of a motor vehicle, a motorcycle. The driver has to have a motorcycle license. You have to have insurance, and you have to have a license plate. But you can also be charged with speeding at that point because you're no longer an e-bike. Okay, let's have a look here. We have a bunch of things that I have not paid attention to over on the YouTube. If two cars arrive at the same time at a single lane bridge, who has the right of way? Whichever one, I guess, is going first. No, you're on the opposite ends of the bridge. We don't have many single-lane bridges here, if any, in Toronto, so I haven't had the joy of experiencing this or trying to enforce it. But you know what? This is where courtesy comes along. If you can take a breath and let the other person go, you go next. And if you're both trying to figure it out, somebody flash the other person and make a nice gesture, or somebody make a decision and just do it. But at the end of the day, you need to, whoever's going first, someone's going to go first. And then be kind and courteous and let them go first. That's the best answer. Boy, it's a weird one, though. Like, single lane bridge, where does that happen anymore? Construction zones, usually they're controlled by a single, even then have some level of traffic enforcement, traffic control, like having a light. most of them wouldn't be, choose your own adventure.
Old
What
Finch.
is this? But where Old Finch has a bridge?
Yeah.
Old Finch where?
At the back. I'll send you the location.
I don't go to Old Finch. What is this? Can a clear plastic cover be used to cover the front plate or no? You can't cover your plate with anything. Any plastic cover, plastic bag, technically nothing can cover it. Can you pull over and park on the side of the highway like the 403? So you can't park on the King's Highway. It's not lawful. If you're disabled, your vehicle breaks down, that's different. But you can't park there and camp out on the highway. It's not permitted. Alan says, good morning, Sean and moderators. Happy FriYay. I do love that button. What is this? Chasey says no to both your questions, Andrew. What is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, he was right. Okay, let's get back into other questions. Other questions. What kind of other questions? What else? I don't know. Did we talk about impaired? We talked about impaired driving. Did I mention recently that I'm not going to be here for 2 weeks? So you guys are engaged in the last May live stream, that I'm going to be on that is scheduled. I might pop in, but I'm going to be on vacation, so it's only when I'm given permission by my children. Can you guys do a fleet video? We've done like a video featuring a car with flashing lights. And when I get back, I think we're going to do a lot of that. I want to take the Charger out for a drive and talk about that. So yeah, I think we're going to have some fleet vehicle discussions, and we're going to go talk to some Motor Squad folks. So lots of good things. Hey, want to become a member? Want to join the police service? We're looking for people who are interested in becoming members of the police service. It doesn't mean you have to become a police officer. There are other fantastic opportunities within our organization. Check out www.tps.ca/careers for more information. Comp50 says, you didn't roast my car yet. No, I haven't had the opportunity, but I did take some snapshots as a reminder so I can come back and have a look at it. It's a good-looking car, but I did notice a few issues that I'd like to discuss with you. Yes, I put out some videos and people said, do my car next. So I will do my best to get through all the cars. We have more work than we have time, so it's hard to get through, but you're on the list, my friend. You are on the list. HarleyRaffle.ca, something I want to talk to you about. Special Olympics Ontario is a wonderful organization. I am actually trying to edit and publish a video that promotes Harley Raffle with my friend Erica, who may or may not be watching right now, but she's a Special Olympian who came in to the studio to talk about what it means to her and help promote the motorcycle raffle, which is available at harleyraffle.ca for $20 for one ticket or 3 for $50. You can buy tickets and increase your odds from no chance of winning to some chance of winning by buying a ticket. The money goes to Special Olympics Ontario, again, a great organization. A beautiful motorcycle. It's a 2020, is it a 21 or a 22? It's a 20-something Harley Street Glide, and it's gorgeous. I sat on it. It feels good. I wouldn't mind winning it. What is this? Is selling traffic signs a crime? Selling them? If you stole them and then sold them, yeah. If you make your own, selling them isn't illegal because you can buy them. They're commercially available. If you have private property and you want to put a sign on it, they do make them. Stealing and selling them, absolutely illegal. Stealing them without selling them, also illegal. Somehow I think this is an obvious one. I don't know why the question occurred, but maybe you were going somewhere else with this. Also, City of Toronto, if you go to their toronto.ca, or is it toronto.com? Toronto.ca, you can buy old decommissioned Toronto street signs. There's a whole bunch of signs throughout the city that have been updated over the years, and if you want to own a historic one, you can buy them there. They go to auction. Very cool. I have some. They are neat. Where were you yesterday? Did I miss the live? You did not miss the live. However, I had to take the day off. I was at the passport office. Yes, I was in line from 5 a.m. and I left the office around 11 a.m. It was a long, long day. Just to give you an idea of how long this was, I was the 7th person in line when I got there at 5 in the morning. The building didn't open until 7, so I was 2 hours outside. And then once the building did open, we moved indoors, where we then stayed for another hour and a half until the office opened. And then it took an hour and a half, 8:30, 9:30, almost 2 hours until I got to the front of the line. And there were only, it was a long line. But I needed to get my passports. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, yes, Akela Draconis reminds me that there are only 7,000 tickets for the Harley, and there are some left, so get them before they're gone. Ashton Stein, my favorite Manitoban who has not been around lately. He says, good morning, my favorite officer. And I'm glad that we're back to favorite officer, because for a while he was like my favorite Ontario officer. He was, yeah, but okay. Maybe he's just being lazy with the keystrokes, and maybe I'm not his favorite, but it's all good. It's all good.
Or maybe there's just limited characters.
That's
in
what
the
I was
box.
saying. He might be just saving keystrokes. What is this? Do radar speeding machines affect your insurance? A very good question, and the answer is no. If you're talking about speed enforcement, automated speed enforcement, they do not affect your insurance because they do not get issued against the driver, and your insurance rates are based on the driver and a number of other things. But in any case, the tickets written to your car do not affect your insurance, nor do red light camera tickets. Maybe they should, though, because people need a motivation not to break the law. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. What would you do if time was frozen for 24 hours? If time was frozen for 24 hours, I too would be frozen, wouldn't I? Yeah. We'd all be frozen. How do we know we're not frozen now? Anyway.
I like that silent pause.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably take a nap without interruption if I was the only person who wasn't frozen. I'd be like, I'm getting a nap. I don't get nearly enough sleep without interruptions. Okay. What is this? Is it illegal to carry a plastic BB gun around? Does it look like a gun? Then whether it's illegal or not is going to be a pretty bad idea, because somebody who has a real gun might think it's a real gun, and you might end up getting arrested at a gunpoint arrest, or at very least scaring some people, which is an offense. You can't present something that looks like a gun because brandishing even a fake one for use as an intimidation method, yeah, those are all things that come with problems. If you're transporting a BB gun around and it's in a case and it's not being shown off or waved or brandished in any way, shape, or form, that you're allowed to transport them. But again, if you're carrying it on your person as though it were real and suggesting that it was, you're gonna have problems. And if someone sees it, calls the police, we arrive, we'll treat it as though it's a real gun. Apparently I am actually his favorite. It's just not keystrokes. Okay. What is this? Can I put stickers on my rear windshield? You can paint your rear windshield solid black if you want to. In fact, you can have it rainbow striped or green or orange or tapioca, whatever your favorite color is. You can do it. The deal with your rear windshield, though, if you compromise its ability to be seen through, you have to have an alternate view to the rear. So your rear view mirror hanging on the windshield is no longer capable of showing you a clear view to the rear because you have stuff on it. If that's the case, your side view mirrors must be functioning, must be there, must give you a clear view to the rear. And then you're legal. And what is this? Oh, and just to follow up, they said carry BB gun in public. It really does suggest first responders asks, I don't think you asked that originally, so I think you're following up on behalf to clarify it. And a great example is somebody carried an airsoft gun, still BB, it's just a different type of pellet or projectile. So they carried it in their hands, like an M16 replica or M60 replica, into a crowded, or at least busy, subway station. You can only imagine how that went. Not very good. A lot of people ran to assist because the assumption was bad things were going to happen. It turned out the person was just not smart. And I mean that because of the choices they made, not because I know anything about them. Okay. What is this? Can you travel with pets in an RV being towed? So you can't, in Ontario, you cannot have anybody in the back, and any person. I'm going to assume animal too, but I don't know. So definitely no humans. I wouldn't put your animals in the back. I'd have to look it up to give you a definitive answer, but I'm going to say no, and we're going to assume that I'm correct because people can't go in. Why would you put your animals there? What is this? Can we put bush bars on the front of a pickup? You can put bush bars that are legal on the front of any vehicle. There's no issue there. When you mount them to the frame, my understanding, and again, it changes your ability to your crush zones, your impact dynamics. So it can affect negatively on a collision. It may cause issues for you when it comes to insurance. There are ones that are designed for civilian vehicles. They're not push bars, they're brush bars. They're just for looks and to protect your paint when you drive off-road. Those are legal. They crush and fold as they're intended. But be careful what you're buying. Make sure you're buying the right thing. Any demerits for speeding 75 and a 60? No, there's no demerit points for 15 over, but it's still a speeding ticket. It still affects your insurance. There's no big bonus other than the demerit points. So at 16 kilometers over, which would be 76 in a, 76 in a 60, that would be 3 demerits. And yes. And Angela Topping, good day. How you doing? Long time no see. She says, don't forget to hydrate. And I will hydrate before I continue to educate. And I have to thank the person, and I don't know who they are offhand. I don't recall your username, but we were discussing it 1 or 2 lives ago, and I said there's a great creator. I can't remember his username. I've lost track of him. Somebody gave it to me. I was watching him yesterday when I was in line, and of course he has merch too. He starts everything off with "Let me hydrate before I educate." Anyway, I love it.
Torx Tank was the person that reminded you of the user.
Well, Torx Tank, thank you very much for reminding me of the user. Any tips for the GTest? I will refill my water so I can continue to hydrate. Can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that.
I can hear that.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
All right. GTest, I can't give you tips related to the test because I have no idea what's on it, but I can tell you some general stuff. Get good sleep. Eat, so you don't want to be hungry, you don't want to be tired, and go to the washroom beforehand because you don't want to be dancing while you're driving. You don't want anything to distract you from the function of doing what you're doing, which is being safe behind the wheel. I will say this, articulate what you're thinking, what you're doing. If you're saying I'm shoulder checking, as you shoulder check, verbalize what you're doing because you may move your head and eyes a little bit and you may have full view and meet the requirements, but you may not be showing the tester who's got one eye on the paper and one eye on you. So you want to make things over the top obvious what you're doing. And I find it's easiest to verbalize your actions. So I'm doing a shoulder check. I'm looking both ways. Say it. Talk to yourself. Nothing wrong with it. They might think you need psychiatric treatment afterwards, but at the very least, they'll know you're a good driver. What is this? What do you think about people squeezing in a lane? Well, there's a thing about courtesy. I don't make people squeeze in. I give them room and I wave them in. Now, people who choose to continuously push and drive, on the shoulder to get in front of you, well, they're just not very nice. And they're probably going to end up causing a collision. And hopefully you have a dash cam running to record them so that their insurance can tank when they get caught and cause a collision. But at the end of the day, we should be letting people in. It's cooperative driving. Zipper is the way to do it, more efficiently. That's where everybody sort of gives gap and people just move in seamlessly as opposed to everyone worried about, God forbid, somebody moves in front of me and I get somewhere, an eighth of a second later than I would have if I just let them in. Can I put my motorcycle vertically? I'm assuming it's a license plate we're talking about because if you put your motorcycle vertically, that sounds like a wheelie, and a wheelie would be stunt driving. We take your wheelie machine away from you for 14 days and your license for 30. But if you mean your license plate vertically, that's also illegal, but it's only a $110 fine. Any way you cut it, though, don't make anything vertical. Rubber side down. Horizontal, what is it called? Portrait versus landscape? Landscape plates. Plates are a landscape thing. Boop to snoop. So the request is to tap the screen until it goes out of, just tap the screen. It's tap the screen. We've got 14.9 thousand likes, and the more likes, the more the algorithm says to other people, hey, people actually like this. I don't know why, but they do. So you can share that love with everybody else. You can also forward the live directly to other people. 8 people have done that already, at least on TikTok, and that allows them to get a personalized invitation to which they will likely thank you with many, many things, including possibly free lunch. I don't know what they would do to thank you for sharing this wonderful information, but we do appreciate it. We don't get paid by TikTok. We're paid because we're police officers and parking enforcement officers, and we're here to educate, but we don't make money from this TikTok. It's entirely for your benefit, but we want to benefit more people. So share the love, share the knowledge. They will do nothing but thank you, or they'll hate you. I can't really predict. Angela Topping wants to know, is it okay for a motorcycle to go in and out of traffic between cars? What if he drives between the cars at a red light? So that's lane filtering versus lane splitting, neither of which are permitted in Ontario. You'll have more of an issue with lane splitting, that's at speed going through, because that's something that may be determined or observed as being interpreted as being stunt driving. Again, bad things happen. We take your bike and we take your license. But lane filtering, it's less clear as to whether or not that's truly careless driving, which is an option to be laid. At the end of the day, if you cause a collision or if you make contact with a vehicle, you will be charged. You're the person at fault. But weaving in and out at high speed, definitely going to be careless driving and or stunt. Every situation is different. It's not suggested. It's not safe. And have you seen how some people drive in this city? Yeah, don't do that. And I don't mean the biker at this point. I mean the people who may change lanes last minute and you may end up getting hurt. Okay. Peter Gallagher wants to know, who's coming through YouTube, by the way, at what point would you actually issue a speeding ticket compared to a warning? Generally speaking, if I get out of my car, you're getting a ticket. So if you create a situation where I see you speeding, or if I'm standing up and I stop you, I'm giving you a ticket 9 times out of 10. If it's something where I'm generally not pulling someone over, I'm going to give a warning to. I've given people warnings. I've given people reduced fines, and I find they still choose to challenge it in court, even though I've reduced it. Now, the only reason I would reduce it is to save time. Someone who says, I'm guilty, officer, I'm really sorry, I made a mistake. Okay, that's a situation where maybe I would reduce the speed if it was a couple of kilometers over. So here's a good scenario. You're doing 16, 17, 18 over. I pull you over, and maybe I'll reduce it to 15 over. Save you the points, because a lot of people are concerned about points. But if you hit 20 kilometers over or above, you were getting the straight speed for me. That's how I operated. And then I'd see people who I had reduced still fighting the ticket. So they said they were doing one thing and they changed their mind. So I stopped reducing them altogether because my being nice to them wasn't being nice enough, apparently. But warnings, I don't think warnings do very much. And let us move on. It's 10:42. And do you know where I was going to say weather report from? We actually don't have that. I was listening to Jerry Agar this morning on my drive in because he was taking over for more in the morning. And he has all these great things. I guess he has a list of stuff to talk about, and he's a producer. I'm like, well, I don't get a weather report. Someone has to hand me a weather report. I'll talk about the weather. I feel left out. Like I need more stuff to talk about. What is this? Would you rather no front plate or plate on the windshield? So you've given me the option of 2 illegal things. My option is option C. I'm going to give you a ticket for either one of them. There is no which one do I prefer. I'll give you the option D then. Put it on a tow hook adapter. That is a legal alternative. But if you put it on the windshield or you simply don't have it, I would stop and charge you for it each and every time. And if I saw that you had a history of doing that, I would escalate that by giving you a summons directly to court. It would no longer have a ticket to pay. I would have you go directly to court. And when you don't, so you'd have to go justify it to a justice of the peace. It wouldn't be something you could just pay. At that point, if you didn't show up to court, they would likely issue a bench warrant. So I would escalate things because people think that a $110 ticket is a license to like a rental contract where you can just pay occasionally for your fines. No, okay. There's a reason we have 2 plates, and I did a video. Oh, I haven't published that video yet. Essentially, we want twice the opportunity to identify your vehicle, whether it's because it was involved in a collision and ran away, involved in crime, involved in simply being able to take pictures of your vehicle, what's involved with offenses that are camera tracked. Whatever the case may be, we need twice as many opportunities to catch you. And I don't mean you in particular, all vehicles. What's good for one is good for all. We don't want to have some vehicles with nicer cars not having front plates. That's ridiculous. Also, Amber Alert's biggest reason to have 2 plates. Gamer Gan, he says, motorcycle plate vertical. Sorry, I missed it. There you go. We figured it out. I didn't think you were talking about just riding around on your rear wheel. Motorcycle exhaust laws. They louder than car? They louder than car. So motorcycles are going to be a little louder. Their engine has no shrouding around it, so you're going to have some more noise, and it's reasonable. It's understandable. It's expected. Can you be obnoxiously loud? Can you have straight pipes on your motorcycle? Absolutely not. I saw somebody that was north of the city driving, I think it was a 250 Ninja, and they took the pipe right off. Why? Because they didn't want to sound like they were driving an egg beater, and they took off the pipes, and it was the most obnoxious. They're going to have hearing damage from their motorcycle, and they think they're cool. The only reason people do these things is not because it makes the bike perform better. I think they really believe they look cool. You can't make a 250 Ninja look cool. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. Use it as an economical way to get around, but please don't make everybody around you miserable. And that's exactly what it was. My kids were like, "What's going on, Daddy? What's wrong with that bike? It's broken." And it's ridiculous. So can they be louder? Marginally louder is not. Yes, they can be a little louder. There's standards, but there's still standards they have to adhere to. You have to have a pipe. Now, in the city of Toronto, aside from the unnecessary noise laws under the HTA, you can also be charged for What is the charge? The charge is, well, there's an idling bylaw. No, there's a motorcycle noise bylaw. In the city of Toronto, you have to be at idle less than 92 decibels, and our bylaw folks will measure that. If you have a motorcycle in general, or if you have a fancy car, listen, a Lamborghini with 12 cylinders is going to be louder than a Honda Civic, but is it unreasonable? Driver behavior is going to dictate whether or not it is unreasonable. Do you need to have side mirrors? No. You need to have one mirror with a clear view to the rear. That's the law. Now, to sell a car, to import a car, to sell it as a dealer, you have to have a certain number of things to be safetied. But when it comes to on the road, you must have one mirror. That's it. If you're on a motorcycle, obviously you'll need to have one mirror. So again, if you have a mirror attached to your windshield and there's a clear view to the rear, you're okay legally. Is it a good idea? I want to see as much behind me as possible and to the side of me. So I would leave all of your mirrors intact. No amount of fashion or style are better than having your mirrors, as far as I'm concerned. Safety first. Okay, is driving with a cracked windshield illegal? Yes. It's amazing how things tend to spread. Having a driver view that is obstructed in any way, shape, or form, including by way of a cracked windshield, not okay. Also, it's considered unsafe. What is this? How does the point system work in Ontario? Every charge will, based on a conviction, the Ministry of Transportation affixes a certain number of points to your license. Once you hit certain thresholds, depending on the license that you have, you will get letters saying, hey, smarten up, you drive, or your driving abilities stink at a certain point, and depending on the type of license you have, you'll be called in for education and eventually suspension. So the idea of points is not to make your insurance go up, which is a fallacy. People think that points make your insurance go up. Any charge that's a moving violation is going to affect your insurance rating, but it's whether or not you keep your license that your points are. So people have it a little mixed up. What is this? Can we? Oh, here's a good question. Let me get some water here.
Oh, mine is so far.
You're so far. You want water, but you don't want to move.
No, yeah, it's okay. I can wait.
I'd share, but it's kind of not okay anymore.
No, it's okay.
I can throw the water at you.
I can just get up and get it.
Yes, you can. Just take your headphones off, otherwise it's going to get really embarrassing. Can we remove license plate sticker? I already read that and I'm reading it again. So the deal is, if you renewed, yeah, you can. You can take it off, and it's probably a good idea to. The reason being is if you drive out of the province or out of the country into the USA, different jurisdictions may not realize that you're allowed to have no sticker, and when you show up with a expired sticker, they may say, hey, that person's expired, pull you over, and you have to then explain yourself. But if you have no sticker, it is a much more reasonable thing to see no sticker and understand that it's not required. You may still get pulled over because people are getting used to the new rules. My suggestion, and Jerry Agar talked about this when we chatted on the phone or on the show on Wednesday, the deal is that he printed out, and I think it's a good suggestion, a copy of some news articles talking about the fact that the law has changed. That's a good thing. Make sure you print out your receipt and carry that with you too. And eventually this is going to be a no-brainer, but for the time being, as it's changing, and everyone I spoke to, the guy I was talking to in line at the passport office yesterday, had no idea you still have to renew at all. Like, he just thought it was free and done, nothing to do. And many people were in the same position. We have a video that's got something like 450,000 views now, talking about the fact that it's free to renew, but you have to go online or in person to renew every 1 or 2 years, depending on whether you choose 1 or 2 years. What is the legal percentage of tint for a whole car? The answer is it depends on which window you're speaking about. But in Ontario, for the windows left and right of the driver, immediately left and right of the driver, it's maximum 30% light blockage. You can go as dark as you want on the rear, but the front windshield cannot have any tint, except for up to a 3-inch tint strip on a vehicle as long as it was manufactured before January 1st, 2017. So if it's a 16 or older, that's okay to have that 3-inch tint strip. If it's newer, you can't have nothing. Okay, what we got here? Hey, if you don't already follow us, please do. We do this Monday to Friday, and you've caught FriYay before I go on vacation, so we won't be doing this for the next 2 weeks, but you might forget if you don't follow us. You won't get notified. But if you do follow us, you will get notified. See how that works? It's amazing. All right. We also post lots of stuff. And while I'm on vacation, I still have content that I'll be sharing and posting. So don't miss out. Follow us. Someone wants to know if I have an opinion on the towing war. I don't really have an opinion on the towing war. Other than war is bad, and a lot of criminal activity taking place during towing wars. People threatening other people, bad things happening. I've watched it in the news. I don't have direct knowledge or information other than what's on the news, and it's of course not good because people get hurt when people fight. Don't fight. Make nice. What does it? Make love, not war. I don't know.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Car seat laws. What can be done if not followed? Well, there's lots and lots of charges we can lay. Children, depending on their age, have to be in car seats, whether it be rear-facing, convertible front-facing, or boosters. They qualify for, you can Google and get the details for each section. And that's right up until they're 8 years old, 80 pounds, or 4'9" in height. That's when they can legally sit in a seatbelt without any kind of booster. That doesn't mean it's the safest thing. It means that they can legally do it. But for the benefit of the child, make sure that it's safe. There are guidelines, the 5-point check. If you go to CPSA, what does CPSA stand for? I say CPSA, and it's the Canadian something, CPSA, that's not coming up on my recent, here, CPSA. Child Passenger Safety Association. Check out their website. That is cpsac.org. All the information, and you can even make appointments to talk to people about training. And the charges for that are pretty stern. I pulled a chap over at a parade, and he had like 6 children in the car. 5 children in the car? He had taken somebody's, not taken against their will, but he had agreed to transport someone's kids home after church. And none of them were in car seats, and they were all itty-bitty, piled into multiple people in one seatbelt. So they made efforts, but it was wrong and it was unsafe. So that car didn't move again until mom came to pick them up and take them home by transit. What is this? Oh, interesting. Yes. Kayla Draconis brings up something that I always talk about, but apparently may not have mentioned today, and that is that tint strip across the top is 3 inches or 75 millimeters, or to the PS1 line, whatever happens first. His 2015, if it had a tint strip, it would obscure the lane tracking camera on the high beam camera. Okay. Apparently, my reservation for this evening, they just tried to call me. Unfortunately, I cannot answer. Hopefully, I didn't lose you, as my looks like my Instagram may have been messed up because of that. Sorry, Instagram, if you got cut off, that was someone trying to confirm my dinner reservation. Yeah, I know because it says who it was. Anyway, if you're trying to call me dinner reservation, whose name I will not mention on camera, I'll call you back because I do want to come for dinner. Gonna have some good food, celebrate some birthday stuff. Okay. What is this?
And we're both going to the same but not the same place today.
Same but not the same place, different place, the same menu.
Yes.
Leo wife.
So we are going to eat some food.
Yes.
Okay.
Some yummy food.
Leo wife, what's going on? Happy days. Hope you're enjoying your day home with the kids, the offspring. Hopefully they're making your day magical. And hopefully the kids are there. And by the way, hi kids, how you doing? Let's see here. Why is rear tint on a sedan illegal but not an SUV? Kiro, I have no idea what you're talking about because rear tint on a sedan is legal. You can tint anything behind the driver as dark as you like. You can paint it solid black if you want. You can put wood in those windows. You have to have a clear view by way of mirror, so your side mirrors must be with a clear view to the rear, but the rear window on a car can be completely blacked out. I don't know where you're getting your information. What is this? When can you put a child out of car seat in front seat? Okay, so when can you put it? I'll repeat the question because I got distracted. Okay, yeah. So here's the deal. When can a child sit in the front seat, and when can they be out of a car seat? So I mentioned a moment ago as to when they can be out of a car seat or booster, and that's 8 years old, 80 pounds, or 4'9". That's any one of those 3 things will make it legal, but not necessarily safe if they're smaller, or shorter, lighter. You really best to be in a multi-point harness as long as you can, and in the back seat until they're 14 years old. So even though there's no law saying a child 8 years old can't be in the front seat, it's not safe. Airbags deploy at like 200 miles an hour. They hurt smaller folks. Oh, I got a voicemail now. They left me a message. All right. What are we talking about here? So yeah, but front seat bad. 14 years old, and some people usually come back with my 13-year-old is 9'12", and what does that mean? It means they're big, but it doesn't mean that their skeletal development is truly finished skeletonizing. I don't know. Big medical people say 14 years old, so I repeat what they say. I'm not a doctor. Not a doctor. Variable exhaust, not legal to have a variable exhaust. When you have stuff that is a bypass switches and so on, I assume that's what you mean by variable exhaust. If it's something else, please let me know so I can correct what I'm saying and be wrong and put something else. No, ticket anything loud. Loud could be illegal. And variable bypass ports and things like that on the solenoid switches, yeah, all of those things are not legal. Cutouts. Are tinted taillights legal or illegal? Where is Murray when you need him? Sergeant Campbell will tell you that they're illegal. The deal is that if your taillights were coated and made to be less functional, that's going to be unsafe and illegal. If they were manufactured to look different and maybe have different light emitting properties, but they still met the minimum requirements to operate in Ontario, then they would be legal. Headlights can't tint at all. Not allowed. Child passenger on motorcycle. The requirements are that they must be able to safely rest their feet on the passenger pegs, and they have to be wearing a proper and approved helmet. Now, I add that's the legal requirement. Sit and be able to hold on safely, and put their feet on the pegs. That's it. But when you talk about taking a passenger, especially on motorcycles like race bikes, I would suggest that maturity goes a long way in determining whether or not they should be passengers, because we all know that kids sometimes do unpredictable things, like maybe put their hands up, ooh, roller coaster, and then you're leaving them on the ground behind you. So please drive safely when you have a motorcycle passenger. Please ride safely all the time on a motorcycle and in any vehicle on the road. But think about the fact that the kids may not be good passengers, may lean the opposite way, may freak out, may do things. So being a good, mature passenger, in your opinion, in addition to being able to put your feet on the pegs, wearing a proper helmet. And I would always ask, although not a legal requirement, have them dress for it. You want to make sure it's the cowhide, not their hide, left on the road if things go south.
Golly. Bye,
what's that?
Instagram.
Oh, what happened to Instagram?
Soon.
Oh yeah, we're not there yet. Timer hasn't kicked on. I'm looking at it. There's no timer. What is this? GPS/phone in middle of windshield illegal. It's obscuring your driver's view, so yes, it could be illegal. Anything mounted to the windshield, even an air freshener, furry dice, whatever you're hanging, could be obstructing the driver's view. And it's amazing how many pedestrians can hide behind a GPS if it's on your window. So my suggestion is have it completely free and nothing there, because if you do, A, you could be charged for it in absence of doing anything wrong otherwise, and B, if you get into a collision and it was determined that you could have seen them but you killed them because you had a GPS in your window, that will not go well. A minute and 40 seconds before we say goodbye to Instagram, folks. It's because the countdown timer says so. We only have an hour on Instagram, so we'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks. But hope you come back. I'm back in the office on the 8th of June. Yes, gone for a little while. But make sure while you're around, check out TPS_bike Check out TPS or parking TPS. Parking TPS?
Parking.
Why are they messing it up? So everything starts with TPS.
I know. I should have been TPS parking.
Yes, change it. Can you change it? Is it too late?
Well,
I don't like it.
I kept it the same as the other handles.
Change everything.
I know.
I just total reset. No, it's Total Recall. It's a Schwarzenegger movie.
That's why you should just remember mine. TPS
that's right.
bike card.
it's the better one.
Yeah.
Okay. We are wrapping up. We're at 10:59 and lots of stuff. Wait, Maple Leaf says I like the way you said that. What did I say? I want to know so I can say it again. A Butterazzi? But I don't know how to pronounce your username. It's very long and too many letters in it without spaces. But did you finally get your passports? I'm picking them up this afternoon. So yes, everything did work out. Passport procedures were awesome. Actually, the folks there were amazing. Aside from the initial run from the front, I say run because you'd think it was a Walmart Black Friday sale, the way people went through that room. And although there were people with different skills and abilities and physical abilities, people with walkers, once they got through that door, people ran to get to the next door, which was not controlled. So some not so great behavior displayed there. I ended up behind somebody that was like 25 people behind me. So how'd that work out? I was the 7th person in line. Anyway, don't mean to gripe. There are bigger fish to fry and things to do, but whatever. We all got along. We all made it happen. And thank you to the staff at that location, you know who you are, for making it all possible for me to travel. Have a good one. We're signing off. We're going to sign off. We're going to say that was a great way to end the thing. We're going to hit the music to say goodbye. Again, 8th of June, that's when I'm back in the office, so we'll do some stuff. But check us out on Traffic Services on Instagram. Traffic Services on Twitter, Traffic Services Toronto on Instagram. We're not really going to have anything going on elsewhere. But you know what? Go to YouTube. Subscribe to us there. It's Toronto Police or Traffic Services Toronto Police. That's where you can watch replays and entertain yourself with hours and hours of traffic stuff. Also, message us. You can get me on VoiceOver Cop while I'm away, too. VoiceOver Cop on all the platforms. And that's it. I'm out.
Have a good weekend and enjoy free parking on Monday.
Free parking on Monday.
On the Victoria Day. Street parking.
Gonna mash all buttons before we go.
Mash all the buttons.